Hello and welcome back to the Masterminds Professional channel. Today we'll be discussing the 5 common mistakes that companies make when carrying out their internal audit function. Internal auditing is a crucial process for any organization, as it helps to identify and manage risks, ensure compliance with regulations, and improve overall operations. However, there are some common pitfalls that companies may fall into that can hinder the effectiveness of their internal audit function. So, let's take a look at these 5 mistakes and how to avoid them. Mistake number 1, lack of planning. The first mistake that companies make is a lack of planning. Internal auditing requires a well-structured plan that identifies the areas to be audited, the scope of the audit, and the timeline for completion. Without proper planning, auditors may miss critical areas, fail to identify risks, or fail to prioritize the audit work. To avoid this mistake, companies should ensure that their internal audit plan is aligned with their overall business objectives and that it's regularly reviewed and updated. Mistake number 2, insufficient resources. The second mistake is insufficient resources. Companies may not allocate enough resources, such as time, budget, or staff, to the internal audit function. This can result in incomplete or inadequate audits, missed risks, and a lack of assurance for stakeholders. To avoid this mistake, companies should ensure that their internal audit function has adequate resources and that the audit team is trained and experienced in the relevant areas. Mistake number 3, lack of independence. The third mistake is a lack of independence. Internal auditors must be independent from the areas they're auditing to provide an objective assessment of risks and controls. If auditors are too closely aligned with the areas they're auditing, there may be a conflict of interest that can compromise the effectiveness of the audit. To avoid this mistake, companies should ensure that their internal auditors have the necessary independence and that they report directly to senior management or the audit committee. Mistake number 4, failure to follow up. The fourth mistake is a failure to follow up. Internal auditors may identify issues or risks but fail to follow up and ensure that they're adequately addressed. This can result in recurring issues or a lack of improvement in the overall control environment. To avoid this mistake, companies should ensure that their internal auditors have a process for following up on audit findings and that the audit function monitors the progress of management's response to those findings. Mistake number 5, lack of communication. The fifth and final mistake is a lack of communication. Internal auditing is a collaborative effort between the audit function and management. However, if there's a lack of communication between the two parties, the audit function may not understand the business objectives or the risks inherent in the organization. To avoid this mistake, companies should ensure that there's open communication between the audit function and management and that the audit function provides regular reports and updates to the relevant stakeholders. So, those are the 5 common mistakes that companies make with their internal audit function. By avoiding these mistakes, companies can ensure that their internal audit function is effective, efficient, and provides the necessary assurance to stakeholders. We hope you found this video informative, and as always, feel free to leave any comments or questions below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Thank you for watching.